everyone, welcome back to my channel. Hope you all are doing really well. You are keeping in good health emotionally, physically, mentally, and you are getting a lot of reading done as well. Okay, so when the lockdown began, I was like so sure that all those books that I thought I could never finish for whatever reasons, I'm going to finish them now. But the reality is quite the opposite. So I am reading some stuff right now, but most of it is just for college, which is actually really annoying, because a lot of times I just want to read something else, but I have to read something because I have to give exams on that. Anyways, I am reading some other stuff as well. One of them is this fiction book called A Suitable Boy by Vikram Seth. It is a really thick book, and that's gonna take a lot of time to finish. So I think the entire lockdown, even this lockdown 2.0, will also be spent in just reading that. But still, um, one thing that I realized in this lockdown is that some books that I thought I'll read someday, they are never going to be read by me. That was a weird sentence. Yeah, there are just some books I don't know. For some or the other reason, I have just never ever finished them, and I don't think I'll ever finish them even during this lockdown. So I think I've said the same thing again and again and again in different ways. So without wasting any more time, let's get started. So number one on my list is The Power of Your Subconscious Mind by Dr. Joseph Murphy. It's been, I think, more than a year now that I have owned this book, and a couple of times I started reading this as well, but I don't think I ever went past 15 pages. Um, I have heard so much about this book, but then again, I think it's just overrated. I mean, I shouldn't say that until and unless I read this completely. But from whatever I have read, those 15 pages, it's just very repetitive, and it's again and again and again, it's just saying the same thing that, oh my god, this book is going to help you. I want to know how. I want it to help me, but it's just telling me that it's gonna help you, it's gonna help you, it's gonna help you, but it's not helping me. So it's just very irritating, and I do not think I'll ever read it. Even if I have all the time on my hands, this is never going to be a book that I could finish. Okay, number two on the list might be a little surprising to some people because it is to me as well. But it is Little Women by Louisa May Alcott. I have started it, I don't even know how many times. I have honestly lost count. It's such an interesting book, but because of some other reason, like my exams came up, or I had to read something else, or something of that sort, I always had to leave it midway. I'm sure I must have a bookmark somewhere. See, I still have a bookmark on page number 295. So there's just one problem with me. If I have to leave a book midway and I can't start it anytime soon, I have to read it from the beginning. I don't know, it's just some problem with me. Even if I remember the story, I just have to start from the beginning. Maybe I'm crazy in some sense, but that's just how I am. So I have started it again and again and again. But some time ago, I started watching Friends. I had never watched that show, and I started watching it. And if you have watched Friends, there's a big Little Women spoiler in one of the episodes, and that just spoiled it for me. I think I am still going to read it, like not right now. So it's not something like the previous one that I know I'll never read. But I don't think this book has some bad luck, or I have some bad luck in regards to this. So that was like a major spoiler. If you know, you know. So I'm really disappointed, but it's such a nice book, so I think I'll finish it just for the heck of it. But yeah, I'm really sad and angry about that spoiler. So if you are a returning subscriber on my channel from the time when I started making videos, if you have been watching all my videos regularly, this one should not come as a surprise to you. So it is The Call of the Wild by Jack London. So I had to read it in school a lot of years ago. Started it, I think, 3, 4, 5 times, I don't even remember, and could not ever finish it. I don't know, it's such a thin book, and there are lots of books, that you have to read for your college or your school or something, and they're not very interesting, but you still just finish it for the sake of it. But I don't know what is it about this book. This is never going to get finished, guys. Never, never, never. I'm very sure I'm never even going to pick it up. So on number 4 is Cinder by Marissa Mayer from the Lunar Chronicles. If I'm right, it's a part of a trilogy, part 1 to be exact. And I got it, I think, a couple of years ago. It was like a part of one of my very first hauls that I did on my channel. And again, I have started it twice or thrice. It's just never grabbed my interest. I never felt interested in the story. I know it's just like not fair to judge a book from just 10 or 15 pages, but what to do when you are unable to read past them? It's just very boring. And it was like all the rage at that time. Everyone was talking about this series, this trilogy, and even now, I see videos where people list it as like one of the best series or one of the best books that they have read. And I loved the cover so much, and I don't know what happened, guys. I seriously don't know, but I don't know. I don't think I'll ever finish this one. Okay, so the next one is a classic, which is Great Expectations by Charles Dickens. I have started it 3 times to be exact, and every time I face the same problem, because the language is so tough. At least it is for me. It's so complicated. The words used are very unfamiliar. The writing style, it's just very complex. So I could never really understand what's happening in the book. So I just think I read a couple of chapters in the beginning and then I left it. So it's just a very difficult book. I'm sure it will be a great book because like Charles Dickens, guys, and so many people like this as well. And I was always so excited to own this book because it's such a beautiful hardcover, and I never thought I'll be DNFing this, but as it turns out, I am. Okay, next one on my list is Wake Up Life is Calling by Preeti Shenoy. For a lot of, again, my returning subscribers, this might come as a shock because I've always loved her books. And yes, I have loved them. Okay, so this is like the sequel of one of her books called Life is What You Make It, and I loved Life is What You Make It. Was very, very excited when I heard that this book is coming out, and I also pre-ordered it. So it's a signed copy, which is great. But I started reading it. I think I was somewhere in the middle of the book when I just lost interest. I don't know, it just didn't feel like Preeti Shenoy's writing. I don't know, it seemed a little immature. The story was nothing unusual. I don't know, it just didn't seem something that Preeti Shenoy wrote. I don't know why. So yeah, I DNF'd this one as well, and I don't think I'll pick this up until and unless I don't have anything else to read. Okay, next on my list is again a classic, Gone with the Wind by Margaret Mitchell. This is a classic case of something else came up and I had to drop this book. So yeah, that's just what happened with this book. Not that I lost interest. I was actually quite far away in the book when I think my exams came up. Yeah, always. That's always the case. So my exams came up, I had to leave it. It happened twice, and it's a thick book, so you always have to be in the right mindset, in the mood to read a big book. So that's when you can pick, at least for me, that's when I'll pick something this big. And also this needs a lot of your focus and attention. It's a great story from whatever I read, and I'm not saying I don't want to finish it. It's again the case of some kind of bad luck, I guess, that I'm just never able to finish it. So this was one of those books that I want to, but I'm just never able to finish. So the last one on my list is perhaps the least known of all of these, which is Love Lessons by Jacqueline Wilson and illustrated by Nick Sharratt. I hope I pronounced that correctly. So this is the book. Got it a long time back. Actually, I didn't get it. It was a part of, this bundle of books that my brother got, and I loved the cover. And as I expected from the cover itself, it is YA. Um, Started reading it a couple of times, I guess. Never really thought the story had any potential of becoming interesting or grabbing my interest again as it progressed. So I just DNF'd it, and I have no intentions of completing this at all. uh, I just have it because I find this really beautiful. So these were the 8 books that I think I'm never going to finish. Some of them I'm sure I'm never going to pick up, never going to finish, and some of them I just think it's not in my destiny to read those books. Just kidding. I don't know what happens with some books. You're just not able to finish them ever. Is it just me, or does this happen to you as well? So let me know in the comments if there are any books that you DNF'd, and some books that you are just not able to complete no matter how much you want to. So yeah, let me know that in the comments. If you like this video, if you enjoyed this video and want to see more content like this in the future, do not forget to hit the like button on this one and subscribe to my channel. And when you click that subscribe button, do not forget to also click the bell icon next to it, so whenever I'll be posting, you will be notified.